Alright, let's look at 1, 5, adding and subtracting, and it's not just your basic, of course, adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting all kinds of different numbers. So adding and subtracting, let's see. If the numbers have, so I'm going to divide this up into a couple categories. Let's say the same sign. Okay, whoops, that should be an N. If the numbers have the same sign, as in if they're both positive or both negative. So both positive, you've been doing this since elementary school. Let's say 2 plus 7, well that's going to be 9. What if they're both negative though? What if they both have negative numbers? So negative 2 and a negative 7. That's still the same thing, except it's negative 9, okay? Whether this is written as like plus a negative 7 or just a negative 7, as long as there's only one negative sign there, we think of that as a negative number, that second number. Okay, so 2 plus 7 is 9, and negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9. Both of these numbers are positive, both of these numbers are negative. The same result, you just carry the sign. The other case would be if you have a different sign, different sign. Okay, well, if you have different signs, let's see, let's try negative 3 plus 7. The first thing you need to do is look and see which number is further from 0, which number has a bigger absolute value. And in this case, the 7 has a bigger absolute value. 7's further from 0 than negative 3. So in this epic number battle, the positive number is going to win. So my answer is going to be positive. I'll just note that right there. And then I look at the two numbers and I say, well, how far apart are they? How much did the 7 win by? And well, the difference between 7 and 3 is 4. Now you can think about this in a variety of different ways. I lost $3 and then I got $7, so overall I'm up $4. You can think of it as a variety. You can think of it as a sports thing. I lose 3 and then gain 7 and I end up with 4. Whatever context is helpful to you, I encourage you to use that. So whatever that, however you feel comfortable there is fine. Okay, if I flip these around, it's still the same idea. The 7 still wins here because 7's further from 0, but now the 7 is negative. So let me put a negative here for my answer. So whichever number is further from 0, that one will win, and that sign will remain. So if the 7's positive and it's bigger, your answer is positive. If the 7's negative and the negative number is bigger, further from 0, then your answer is going to be negative. And then the same question, how far apart are these? That's negative 4. Do not be dependent on your calculators here. It's incredibly important that you can do these in your head, that you can think them through, because eventually you'll need to be much more fluent than what your calculator will provide you. You should be able to just write down the answer at some point soon, than to have to punch something like that in your calculator. Let's look at fractions real quick. Okay, and then I'll give you a couple to try. Let's say 2/3 minus 7/9. Okay, well the first thing I need is a common denominator. This denominator has to be the same. This is kind of like trying to add feet and inches together. You can't add feet and inches together because they're not the same size. You need to make them the same size first, and then you can add them. So maybe you'll make them both inches or whatever. So here I have to think about what 3 and 9 both go into. You could multiply them and get 27, but if you think about this, you could probably think of something better that would work. So 3 and 9, well they both go into 9 as well, because 3 just goes into 9, so I can do that. If you use 27, you'll get the same answer in the end. It'll just be a little more reducing work. Okay, so over here the denominator doesn't change. That's just exactly the same. So let me copy that 7. And over here on the left, 3 times what will give me 9? That's times 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. So it's important that I multiply both the numerator and denominator by the same number, and that means the same thing. If you got your calculator out and you did 2 divided by 3, it'd be 0.6666667 at the end because it rounds up that last number. And if you put in 6 divided by 9, you would get 0.66666 with a 7 at the end. You get the exact same thing. These mean the exact same thing. Once I'm here, keep that common denominator, that common unit, that common size. 6 minus 7, the negative number is bigger, so make my answer negative. And how far apart are 6 and 7? They are 1 apart. So that's how I approach fractions, and also if you have that negative in there. The rules are the same as above. Let me give you a couple to try. So let's try -3 minus a -4. See if you remember what to do there. I'm just kind of throwing that at you. I know it's very mean and cruel. 2.7 minus 3.8 and -3/5 plus 1/6. Go ahead and try those three out. I will get back with you in a minute.